Make sure it's not
One, two,
muted.
three. Yes.
We will be live streaming the entirety of today's panels, just like yesterday, some members are able to know each of the candidates' platforms. Just to go over ground rules again, if you weren't here yesterday, please silence your phones and please put away your phones as well. Just to be respectful to our candidates and hold your applause until each position of the panel is completed. Additionally, there should be no open food allowed, and also when you're up here, speak loudly. And lastly, when you are speaking, don't forget to step forward so we know who's speaking. During your panel period, you'll be asked a series of questions. Each question has a lot of time for you to respond, with either a minute or 30 seconds. Dale in the back will be the timekeeper and will have cards indicating how much time you have left to answer the question. At the end of your time, Dale will say time. Once he says this, please wrap your thoughts immediately should you reach this mark. No need to make an immediate stop. The time starts once you begin answering the questions. You are welcome to repeat the questions only once. The order of position today goes as follows. It will be media, into social, cultural, COPO, and then we'll take a 5-minute break. From there, we'll go internship, secretary, treasurer, vice president, and president. Does anyone have any questions so far? But yes. With that, we'll go over to our first panel today, which will be our media officer. Yes. Can I? For each question, we'll rotate such. Remember just to answer to the best of your ability, and when speaking, please step forward. With that, do you need any clarification with the instructions? No. If not, we'll begin the panel. Please introduce yourself with your name, pronouns, year, and major, starting with your name.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Layla Deloviar. I go by she, her pronouns. I'm a second-year business finance major.
Thank you. For your first question, answer in 30 seconds. Describe the responsibilities of being a media officer.
So a media officer will take pictures, videos, and will create flyers of our events and such. And then we will also maintain a Akbayan website. And then we're keeping digital records of our events, workshops, and programs.
Answer in 30 seconds. You were given a suggestion by Cabinet to make a media to highlight October's recap with its events, including Mabuhay, Friendship Games, Camp Reveal, and workshops. With the platforms that you currently use or open to using, how would you create this, and how will you ensure that all events are highlighted?
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. Answer in 30 seconds. You were given a suggestion by Cabinet to create a media highlight of October's recap with its events, including Mabuhay, Friendship Games, Camp Reveal, and workshops. With platforms that you currently use or open to using, how would you create this, and how would you ensure that all events are highlighted?
So personally, I would do like a little montage of all the events, and then in that I would put in a lot of photos that go by quickly so that they're still seen, but we can still get like a lot of media in there. And then I'd also add in some clips and then try to condense it down into a cohesive thing.
Answer in 1 minute. How do you plan on using your camera to personally connect with members at events and create an inclusive space?
So for me personally, the way that I would connect with people using my camera is usually when you're taking a picture, you're bringing attention to the present moment, and usually people are excited to tell you like, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is like what I'm creating. This is what I'm doing on like a Saturday or after class. And then with that, I'm able to connect and be like, hey, this is really cool, and I really want to share this with other people. And with the Akbayan platform, you want to take pictures of every single person. You don't want to just be exclusive to the people you know.
Answer in 1 minute. Seeing as this position requires the aid of 3 people, how do you want to ensure the synergy between your co-media officers is strong enough to support, but at the same time hold each other accountable, both personally and professionally?
So with this, I would want to connect with them outside of a workspace, get to know them on a personal and a deeper level, a deeper connection. And hopefully with that, I would have a strong enough connection where we all have mutual respect, that we would do our our share of the work, and we wouldn't just give it all to one cow. So hopefully we would have a good enough connection that we are mindful of what our duties are.
Answer in 30 seconds. How do you promote, express, and advocate for yourself through the media that you will make? How do you want to tell your story through this position?
So for me, I feel like I'm a very joyous and sentimental person. So for me, I want to capture those sentimental moments because a lot of our programs and events, we have those moments of like, this is very meaningful to my heart and that is my story. And then like all my life, I've been around cameras because my dad's a photographer and I want to show that by being behind a camera myself. So that's part of me that I want to share.
Answer in 30 seconds. If renewed, Media Corps usually consists of 3 or 4 core members. What would you look for within potential core members?
So for me, I want someone who has their own self-determination, their own drive. They're doing this because they want to, not because they're obligated to. I want someone who has a passion for creation. I want someone who is able to work with other people. I want someone who embodies the embracing and friendship. I want them to feel like this is my heart. This is like what I want to do with my time.
Answer in 30 seconds. Oftentimes, media is seen as a supporting role for other cabinet members. Because of this, your cabinet members rarely acknowledge your work and it results in late media requests. How would you address this?
So first of all, I would communicate with them and I would express how we are also humans. We have our own obligations, school and such. And then I would explain like the way I respect your position, I would appreciate if you respected my time and my effort. And then if there's something that is keeping them from sending media requests in time, I would try to work through that and see if there's anything that I can help with or any of my co-hosts can help.
Answer in 30 seconds. Besides executing the responsibilities of a media officer, how do you plan to support your cabinet in other ways?
So I would offer my own help. If there's too much of a workload that they can't accomplish, I would be like, hey, I have some extra free time. I can help you with this. Or if they need like an outside perspective as someone who isn't directly working on whatever they are working on, sometimes it's helpful to see it from another perspective. So I would be able to offer that to them.
Answer in 1 minute. As a promotions board, you're one of the first impressions of the organization. What does this mean to you?
To me, this means a lot. It's like you're the first thing that's like welcoming them in. For me, I was a little scared to join as a freshman, and seeing the videos that I saw at Info Night during my sophomore year, I realized like it's not as scary as a place that I thought it was. Like even though it's a huge organization, everyone here welcomes you with open arms. And to me, being the face of that is really like impactful. It's like significant to my heart. I feel a lot of love towards this because it really helped me find my community. And I hope that with my position, I would be able to express that to people who might be afraid, just like I was. It means, like, it really just means spreading joy to me.
Answer in 30 seconds. Without talking about this position, why do you want to be a cabinet member?
For me, I love to be involved. I love being a part of something that's bigger than myself. I love giving to my community, and that's one of the reasons I joined the internship class. And I want to expand on that now that we're going to be graduating soon. And I also saw how the cabinet members this year are pretty tight knit, and I would love to be part of a chosen family of such, like the cabinet member.
With that does conclude the media officer panel.
If we can have our social chair candidate come to the front. For each question, we will rotate such. Remember to answer to your best of your ability, and when speaking, please step forward. Do you need any clarification on the instructions?
I'm okay.
If not, we will begin the debate for the social chair position now. Please introduce yourself with your name, pronouns, year, and major.
Hello everyone, my name is Bianca Chrysostero. I'm an MIS major, a second year, and I go by she, her pronouns.
Your first question, answer in 30 seconds. What does social mean to you?
To me, social means being in the moment, focusing on who you are, who you're with, and where you are now, so that you can remember these moments, because the moments that you remember are the ones that make life worth living.
Answer in 30 seconds. What are the ways in which you would advocate for and uphold Akbayan's inclusivity and welcoming spaces outside of your own workshops and events?
Outside of my own workshops and events, I would attend other workshops and events hosted by my fellow CAB members, and I would make the effort to talk to people that I don't typically see at these events and encourage them to keep coming back so that they can meet more people and find their own community.
Answer in 1 minute. Triforce is an alliance that was formed during Friendship Games to connect Filipinx American organizations in the Bay Area. As Friendship Games is also a competitive event, how do you plan to strengthen bonds within Triforce to create a supportive environment?
To strengthen bonds within Triforce, I would want to bring back Triforce Picnic, and I think it would be a fun idea to have the school heads come together and group certain people from each school so that this could be like their trio for the day. And also, additionally to that, I would want to have a bonding meeting between the heads of Triforce so we can strengthen our own bonds, because how could we expect our members to get closer together and depend on each other if we can't depend on each other?
Answer in 1 minute. With the possibility of FG40 returning, how do you plan to ensure the interest in the event remains the same, if not better, as it was prior to Triforce Fest?
During our Friendship Games info nights, I would want to experiment with doing it a little differently and having a sort of more tame, smaller version of Friendship Games, so that the members could get a small experience of what it's like and understand how fun it is and how we'll get to meet more people, interact with so many different schools. I'd also want to give as much clarification as possible to the members so that they know what they're going in for, what they're expected to do, what they're expecting to see.
Answer in 30 seconds. Do you believe Friendship Games is the most important event to execute for the social chair position? Why or why not?
I believe Friendship Games is one of the biggest events for social chair to coordinate because it involves so many different schools and across the state and outside of the state. However, I do not believe it is the most important event for social chair to host, because that would imply that I won't put as much effort into other events, which are equally as important to the Akbayan community.
Answer in 1 minute. The social chair position comes with a lot of traditional events such as AK Spoons, Super Smash Bros, Open Floor, and Winter Formal. To what extent do you plan on upholding these traditions, and what are new events you would like to see within this potential term?
I would like to continue with these traditional events because these events were meaningful to the people that created them, and it shows where we came from and who we are. However, I would like to put sort of modern twists on a few of them so that they're more with the modern times, and so members actually understand them, because I know in the past, one of those traditional events was very confusing to members, so it didn't get as much engagement as we would have wanted. So I would like to modernize it a little bit, make it maybe a shorter time frame so that members can be fully immersed in it.
Answer in 30 seconds. Knowing that Friendship Games requires many expenses such as traveling and boarding, what ways do you plan to fundraise to offset the costs?
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. Answer in 30 seconds. Knowing that Friendship Games requires many expenses such as traveling and boarding, what ways do you plan to fundraise to offset the costs?
Every semester, a fundraiser that I see to be successful is one of the fundraisers where you pie or splash someone. So I'd like to bring that back. I also include game coaches and roll call directors, because I know that they create special bonds with the people that they direct. And I'd also like to see more small merchandise to sell, like, well, sure, it's not small, but also keychains, or bring back Croc bits, and yeah.
Answer in 30 seconds. Friendship Games is a big event that occurs in the fall semester, and many members leave once it's over. How would you keep members and the overall social chair position active in the spring?
In the spring, I would focus on the workshops and events that I would previously ask members that they'd like to see. So during our info nights and open houses, I would have a question about what members are interested in so that I can focus on events that they're interested in the spring semester to encourage them to keep coming back and bring back the interactions.
Answer in 1 minute. Why do you believe that social is one of the 4 pillars in our organization?
The mantra of Akbayan is embracing in friendship. It's deeply rooted in Akbayan and all communities to create social bonds because it's how we learn, it's how we grow. So having social as one of our pillars is one of our pillars encourages the community to keep reaching out, to keep finding new people to learn from, to make new experiences with. It also helps us to understand where we come from.
Answer in 30 seconds. Without talking about your position, why do you want to be a cabinet member?
Can you repeat the question?
Answer in 30 seconds. Without talking about your position, why do you want to be a cabinet member?
I want to be a CAB member because I want to show other members that they have a place here too. When I first joined Akbayan, I was really scared that I wasn't going to fit in, that I had to have some sort of purpose, but I want to show members that they can just be, that they only have to be here. They don't need to be something else, they can just be.
That concludes your panel for the social chair position.
If I could have the cultural chair candidate please come to the front. Just for directions, for each questions, make sure to stand up, step forward, and speak. Do you have any clarifications with instructions?
No.
If not, we will begin the panel for the cultural chair positions. Please introduce yourself with your names, pronoun, year, and major, starting with your name.
Hello everyone, my name is Ezekiel Dane Tubu Ruiz. My pronouns are EM. I am a first-year aviation science major with a concentration in professional flight.
Answer in 30 seconds. What are some plans you want to implement in order to better promote and increase attendance and participation within your workshops or workshops in general?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yes. Answer in 30 seconds. What are some plans that you want to implement in order to better promote and increase attendance and participation within your workshops or any workshops in general?
Some plans I have to get better reach for our workshops is to collaborate with other Filipino practitioners and interest groups that are popular on social media, as they have a large audience and they're well known in the cultural community, and I would like to combine knowledge and collaborate to make more efficient workshops. Yes.
Answer in 30 seconds. Identify one workshop that a cultural chair has held this year. What did you learn from it, and how did it inspire you to pursue this position?
Jackson Tansioko's singing Sagito. It taught me a lot about Philippine gold and that people had an interest in Philippine culture, but more importantly, that people had an interest in the Philippines in its antiquity. I remember that people were looking at the ornaments and the jewelries and were telling me, like, hey, why aren't we using these now? Hey, why aren't we seeing this in the media? And I don't want our culture and our history to be a mystery.
Answer in 30 seconds. Name one topic you would like to highlight during your term as cultural chair.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. Answer in 30 seconds. Name one topic you would like to highlight during your term as cultural chair.
One topic I would like to highlight as cultural chair, if elected, is what we lost as Filipino peoples. In media and modern representation, people know Filipinos as with very specific image, and I want people to understand that we were so much more than the Filipino savage, or we were so much more than people who lived in huts. And I want people to embrace who we were before colonization and who we are today.
Answer in 30 seconds. How are you connecting your position as cultural chair to your own personal life, values, and experiences?
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. Answer in 30 seconds. How are you connecting your position as cultural chair to your own personal life, values, and experiences?
Kapampangan researcher Michael Pangilinan uses the phrase siwala ding mangobiat, meaning voice of the deceased. And growing up, my family was very prominent spiritual leaders in our community in the Philippines. And growing up, I was just very surrounded by culture and our beliefs. And so they heavily ingrained into me that I need to protect my truth, but also protect other people's truths. And using and through a position of cultural chair, I see it as me exercising this, but also a test.
Answer in 30 seconds. Akbayan is promoted as an inclusive organization and accepts anyone, even if they are not Filipinx. How do you aim to make these individuals feel included while still educating and promoting Filipinx culture?
While the aim for my term, if elected, is to establish the Philippines, a Filipino narrative in a specific point in time, I want to emphasize that it's also equally important to realize that the Philippines has always been a global trade entrepot, and there's so much cultural connections and cultural exchanges that have come with the different cultures and peoples that influence us, because we were never isolated and we were always connected to a global network. So I want to start conversations that could create connections with other cultures rather than isolating us.
Answer in 1 minute. Name 2 individuals you like on your core and why.
2 individuals I would like on my core are firstly Johnny Fukushima. Throughout our time as interns, he has expressed a deep interest to learning his culture despite learning about his culture despite not being very connected to it growing up. And additionally, he is a history major, so that helps me with my vision for my term. On the opposite side of the coin, I would like Jade Tan as one of my core members, as he was born and raised in the Philippines and has strong cultural insights from there. But additionally, he has strong passions for the voices of the lesser people in the Philippines, especially indigenous communities and those who are affected by things such as corruption.
Answer in 30 seconds. As cultural chair, what is one way you would like to promote Filipinx culture or history outside workshops and events?
One way I would like to promote Filipinx history outside of workshops and events is through the use of our social media platforms, specifically Akbayan Cultural. I've seen in the past that previous cultural chairs would create post series and reels to further educate online and create a social media presence for their passions. And I would like to utilize that and use that in my term to not only educate within Akbayan but outside of Akbayan.
Answer in 1 minute. Why do you believe that culture is one of the 4 pillars of our organization?
Akbayan SJSU was initially established as an organization to represent the ideas, the interests, and the values, and of course the culture of Filipinx people on SJSU. And culture encapsulates more than just Filipinx culture. There's Philam culture, there's Bay Area culture, there's SJSU student culture, and there's even a culture in this room that we're all standing in right now. So to not have culture within Akbayan is to not have an identity. So it is the cultural chair's job to uphold and track culture, but no, it's actually all of our jobs to uphold and track culture, which is why the cultural chair and the cultural pillar stands as one of Akbayan SU's 4 pillars.
Answer in 30 seconds. Without talking about your position, why do you want to be a cabinet member?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. Answer in 30 seconds. Without talking about your position, why do you want to be a cabinet member?
Tying back to my time in Texas, it was there that I realized how much being Filipino and having my kapwa near me is how much that meant a lot to me. Being in a place devoid of other Filipinos, let alone anyone who wasn't African American, Hispanic, or white, made me feel like I was missing out on something bigger than me. And coming back to the Bay Area, coming to SJSU, it is me finding my kapwa again, and Akbayan SJSU is where I found it. So I want to be a cabinet member to return that love, but also return that love that y'all have given me, and do it with people who have a lot of love to give.
With that does conclude the panel for the cultural chair.
If we can have our co-chair candidate come to the front. As a reminder, remember to answer to the best of your ability, and when speaking, please step forward. Do you need any clarification on the instructions?
No, thank you. I'm okay.
If not, we will begin the debate for the co-chair position now. Please introduce yourself with your name, pronouns, year, and major.
Hello, y'all. My name is Liv Orapella. I am a third-year design studies major concentrating in animation and illustration, and I minor in Asian American studies and sociology, and I usually hear from.
Your first question, answer in 30 seconds. What are some ideas to get more community involvement within San Jose outside of the immediate Akbayan community?
I think a great way to connect the Akbayan community to what is larger out of SGSU would be coalition building through local organizations. I'd like to use my connections with Lead Filipino, Tango Migrante, Howie's, and just general Filipino orgs that are now and up and developing to connect people to resources.
Answer in 1 minute. What are your goals for the community and political affairs chair position next year?
Can you please repeat the question?
Yes. Answer in 1 minute. What are your goals for the community and political affairs chair position next year?
My goals for COPO next year would be to generally educate the greater Filipino American diaspora. I know that college can be very overwhelming and not many people are connected to what is happening politically or even within your local community. So I want to try and educate people through a bite-sized manner to create workshops that generally connect to your interests in terms of media or even what might be personal to you in terms of family positions, and hopefully connect you again to the resources that you might find helpful.
Answer in 30 seconds. If elected, what topics would you like to shed light on within your workshops and events?
Topics that I would like to shed light on in terms of my events would be colorism, the effects of U.S. militarism in the Philippines, general voter education, and why AAPI voices matter. Additionally, I want to continue to talk about the OFWs and continue to talk about ICE and immigration. Even though they may be repeated, I believe that it is important and not everybody is always up to date and aware as things are constantly changing.
Answer in 30 seconds. Is RAP the most important event the COPO chair holds? Why or why not?
May you please repeat the question?
Yes. Answer in 30 seconds. Is RAP the most important event the COPO chair holds? Why or why not?
Yes, I believe RAP is the most important event that the COPO chair holds. At its core, I think it is a collaboration, not just between chairs, but also the broader local organizations here. I view it as an opportunity to connect culture and country to the greater Filipino American diaspora, and to keep us grounded in our roots and to truly understand the Filipino people's struggle.
Answer in 1 minute. What is your vision for RAP? How would you encourage participants to come out?
As I mentioned with my last question, I would like to keep people grounded in our roots and understand the Filipino people's struggle. A friend of mine has recently mentioned, a community organizer friend of mine that as Filipinos continue to migrate to the U.S., we become more and more Americanized. And we need to care about the Philippines and our homeland in order to maintain culture and heritage, as those are what shape our experience, along with contribute to this sense of Pinoy pride that we have and continue to contribute to our sense of belonging. So I'd like to reach out to local organizations again to develop workshops to truly have people understand that and have them reflect on what it means to be Filipino American and have that sense of identity. Additionally, I know that with RAP, it is supposed to be an introduction for a lot of incoming high schoolers, so continuing to foster their sense of identity and what college could look like for them.
Answer in 30 seconds. Akbayan SJSU is a nonpartisan organization that has made stances in the past on its own values. How do you plan to respond to any national or global issues that may arise during your term?
I believe that it's very important to take a stance, especially when it pertains to issues that directly affect our community, but also just the people of color communities in general. I know that Akbayan has released statements in the past. I think it's important to acknowledge these issues as we let the general members know that these are issues that we care about and that are important, and to generally become a space for them to confide in us with any issues that they may be concerned about and guide them again to resources that could be helpful.
Answer in 30 seconds. Akbayan is promoted as an inclusive organization and accepts anyone even if they're not Filipinx. How do you aim to make those individuals feel included while still educating and promoting Filipinx culture?
May you please repeat the question?
Yes. Answer in 30 seconds. Akbayan is promoted as an inclusive organization and accepts anyone even if they're not Filipinx. How do you aim to make those individuals feel included while still educating and promoting Filipinx culture?
I think our culture is very connected with others. Our belief community is cultural for us, as we have a very shared sense of value in family. That doesn't necessarily mean blood-related family, that could mean chosen family as well. I think when being a part of the internship, it's always about just developing a sense of friendship, as Akbayan's mantra is embracing in friendship. And so I think highlighting that would be very important.
Answer in 1 minute. Name 2 individuals you would like on your core and why.
The first individual that I would love on my core would be JJ Montano. He is a great friend of mine that is also very much involved in the community organizing space. Right now, he is currently organizing setting up an event for a recently passed member in our community that is a vigil that I highly encourage that everybody goes to. I believe that he has very similar values to mine, and is very extremely passionate about what is happening in the Philippines and mass educating others, and does a great job when it comes to outreach. Another individual that I would really love on my core would be Gabby Severa. I think she is someone that could be a great leader in the future, and has shown great interest in the civic engagement space. So I believe that there is a lot for her to grow, and she does have a deep care for others around her and a great sense of sympathy that I believe should be instilled within others.
Answer in 30 seconds. Part of the Copa Chair's responsibility is to keep members informed about current political and social issues. How will you be able to keep up to date and act upon these issues when you are busy pursuing events and workshops you already plan to hold?
Can you please repeat the question?
Yes. Answer in 30 seconds. Part of the Copa Chair's responsibility is to keep members informed about current political and social issues. How will you be able to keep up to date and act upon these issues when you are busy pursuing events and workshops you already plan to hold?
Something that I'm always told in the community organizing space is that we will meet you where you are at. It is constantly always changing and there is always new information coming forward. So I usually try to have a lot of casual conversations with those around me. I love learning from others and I encourage others to learn as well. Even if I can't take the time to look into something, if it's generally a statement that I agree with, I will try to repost it on my social media so that others are aware as well and hopefully continue to have those conversations with me.
Answer in 1 minute. Why do you believe that community and politics is one of our 4 pillars of our organization?
I believe that community and politics is one of the pillars of our organization because it is something that is generally rooted within our history. I think Jackson put it best in one of his presentations for PCN, rooted within resistance. As we've seen here in like the Bay Area, ethnic studies is something huge. Filipinos who are part of the Third World Liberation Front, the Delano's Grave Strike is also something that happened. As you see, there's so many local Filipino organizations that are actively working towards trying to connect you to the country, to the Philippines, and advocating for them in that greater sense.
Answer in 30 seconds. Without talking about your position, why do you want to be a cabinet member?
I think at its core, this is an extremely great opportunity for me to grow, not just as a leader, but also as a person within my own Filipino American identity. Additionally, like many others have said, Akbayan is a community that they have grown to love. I may be a third year, but this is my first year involved with Akbayan, and it's been a community that I've been wanting to join since freshman year. And so I believe that this community is extremely rewarding and has shown me a lot of love, and I want to continue to spread that love to others.
And with that, that concludes our panel for the co-chair chair position. We will now be taking a 5-minute break, so please be back by 6:52.
Or do you want to see
Whatever is more useful. If everyone's attention, we'll resume panels for today. We'll now be moving on to the panel for internship coordinator. Can I have my internship coordinator please come up to the stage? Before you begin, do you need any clarification on the instructions?
No.
If not, we'll begin the panel for the internship coordinators. Please introduce yourself with your name, pronoun, year, and major.
Hello, y'all. I'm Jackson Tantioko. I'm a second-year data science major. I go by Ehan.
Answer in 30 seconds. How do you define success in the terms of the internship program?
I think that the way I would define success in the internship program is just through any amount of growth. I feel that's what the program is there for. It could be in different meters or different parameters, but anyways, it's either like, oh, I found new friends. That's a big step, especially within the college space, or especially if it's the first year. Making new friends, finding community, that's a big step of growth. Also, we offer internship program is a place to professionally develop, to academically, socially, culturally, cultural and politically. So I think just development with all 4 pillars, but also personal.
Answer in 30 seconds. How would you guide your interns to succeed individually and as a class, and find a balance between helping them and allowing them to grow in their own ways?
I think in order to set a foundation for people to succeed as a class and as individuals is to first set up a foundation of trust. In order for me to help them or for them to trust me, we first need to get to know each other, be familiar with each other, as well as set these boundaries and these places of trust in order for them to comfortably come over to me to ask for help, also for me to comfortably help lead them and help guide them whenever they are in a place of trouble or need or just distress as a class.
Answer in 30 seconds. In the past, Akbayan's internship program has normally been catered to developing the next potential cabinet members of Akbayan. In what ways is the internship program beneficial beyond the Akbayan space?
Like I said it previously, internship is just a place to grow. It's supposed to be a safe place for people to experiment with themselves, to try out new things. So it's not specifically catered towards Akbayan, which it does make sense for that transition. But we've seen through past people within internship or past participants that their growth and their leadership skills are transferable outside of Akbayan spaces. We have people in AS, we have people in Lead, we have people in FON, and these places help. Internship is a place to help develop all these leadership skills and soft skills that are transferable to other places.
Answer in 1 minute. Name 3 individuals or organizations you would have come out to host a workshop for your interns and why.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. Answer in 1 minute. Name 3 individuals or orgs you would have to come out to host a workshop for your interns and why.
I think first of all, one of the people or I guess options as for a professional development workshop that I'd like for my interns to have is through a workshop hosted by either Alan Green, which is one of our academic advisors, which is very well informed on professional development and career development as a person, and such that, or Dan Rip, who is also a past cabinet member, as well as very involved with FON SJSU, and he's hosted past professional development workshops for internship. Another one would be either an academic / mental health workshop done by Nicole Australia, who has done workshops on burnout, which I think is really beneficial as an intern class, as well as Ricardo Kudos, his workshop on bigger brains, bigger gains. I think that is very supplemental to help those mental health and balancing wise. And for thirdly, I think Mark Santa is a good option for hosting a workshop as his biennial workshop. Also, his experience within Capice, within AAS will definitely help bring intern class and grow.
Answer in 1 minute. As the number of interns continue to grow each year, how will you balance providing individualized mentorship with meeting the needs of the class as a whole?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. Answer in 1 minute. As the number of interns continue to grow each year,
How will you balance providing individualized mentorship with meeting the needs of the class as a whole?
I think standing on the model that Akbayan has is human first, student second. So of course, prioritizing these individuals as humans and as people will help set the foundation for people to grow individually as well as like if there was a huge class. And through that, I think first hitting them or connecting with them as individuals will help give the trust in order so a whole class will be able one to trust each other, but also to trust me as I'm also will be learning alongside with them and to lead with them and to grow with them. So setting up those parameters and those experiences will help a class succeed and grow together.
Answer in 30 seconds. Explain what type of role model you want to be for your interns and how will you execute it if elected?
Just through my personal experience, a lot of the role models within my life were my older cousins or my older brother. So I think that's a good way to have one someone you can be comfortable with and someone you can talk to casually. Also, someone that will like keep it with real with you and let you know when to help guide you in the right space and have like the right wisdom to push you beyond your boundaries or beyond your potential in order for you to grow. So role modeling myself based off that kind of relationship, I think will be helpful for a class to trust me, but also for myself to be comfortable in trusting them and leading them.
Answer in 30 seconds. How do you plan to take care of your own wellness while also taking care of your interns and being a cabinet member?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. Answer in 30 seconds. How do you plan to take care of your own wellness while also taking care of your interns and being a cabinet member?
I think one thing that I really struggled with within my first term in cabinet was taking care of myself. I felt like a lot of the times I had my priorities out of check. So with this new potential term, I want to really emphasize that and really grow within that space as a leader and as an individual. One thing that I want to implement for myself individually is get better connected with and better checkups with our advisors, Dr. Papa and Alan, as they're here for us and as a cabinet and as a community. So I think involving myself more with that will help me in those spaces.
Answer in 30 seconds. How will you evolve and improve not just the position, but the program as a whole?
Can you repeat that, please?
Answer in 30 seconds. How will you evolve and improve not just the position, but the program as a whole?
I think one thing that internship program could evolve through is being more, how to say, like the previous question, being more attributed to leadership outside of mine. I feel like a lot of the times it can be a little catered towards specifically like cabinet needs or such as within the space of mine, but allowing or being transparent with our internship class and with our community that this is a space to grow as individuals and have potential leadership experience outside of environment and outside of leadership or core will help definitely grow the class beyond the space of environment and allow them to reach different communities, different spaces, different professional career levels in order to grow.
Answer in 30 seconds. What do you hope to learn from your prospective internship class?
Can you repeat that, please?
Yes. Answer in 30 seconds. What do you hope to learn from your prospective internship class?
I think one thing that will help I hope to learn from perspective class is perspective and patience. A lot of the time, we come or the internship class has like different like structure because like, of course there's a coordinator and there's a class, but with that comes different perspectives, comes different viewpoints, and standings when it comes to certain situations or problems. So being open-minded, being patient, and having open ears and an open heart with a perspective class will help give perspective and the patience needed in order to find the right place to go.
Answer in 30 seconds. What is your vision for the next internship class?
Can you repeat that, please?
Yes. Answer in 30 seconds. What is your vision for the next internship class?
I think that the way that the American landscape is going on, I really want a class to be empowered first, but also be well informed on what's happening in the real world and how it affects us as a community or how it branches out to us. Because certain problems may not directly influence us as, like, say, Filipinx Americans, but trickle down effect will eventually get to us. So I want a class that is empowered, that is knowledgeable, and is well informed, and have the strength to stand up when it feels right, but also speak out.
Answer in 30 seconds. Why do you want to be a cabinet member again?
I think Akbayan is a real space where a lot of magic happens. Like we talked about, just PCM just happened. We talk about PCM magic, but there's magic elsewhere. There's internship magic. There's workshop magic. There's a lot of different spaces. There's tailoring magic, but there's a lot of different spaces where people feel connected to. There are these special little beignets and moments within our lives, and I want to be able to help lead or help have the wisdom from a past cabinet and bring to a future cabinet in order to have the wisdom and the right methods in order to connect with these people and really embrace their friendship.
With that does conclude the panel for internship coordinator.
If I can have our secretary candidate come to the front. As a reminder to answer to the best of your ability, and when speaking, please step forward. Do you need any clarification on the instructions?
No.
If not, we will begin the panel for the secretary position now. Please introduce yourself with your name, pronouns, year, and major.
Hi, I'm Harry Pashan. My pronouns are he, him. I'm a third-year psychology major.
Your first question, answer in 30 seconds. Outside of maintaining professionalism, what are the other responsibilities of the secretary?
Could you repeat the question?
Answer in 30 seconds. Outside of maintaining professionalism, what are the other responsibilities of the secretary?
The other responsibilities of secretary is to take notes, schedule rooms, as these are very important to AK because they allow to give space to all of the other cabinet members, such as the pillars.
Answer in 1 minute. It is known that the secretary takes notes, handles paperwork, makes and enforces rules for the cabinet to abide by. What will you do to make the role of the secretary more visible and active? Additionally, how will you expand the role?
Can you repeat that question again?
Yes. Answer in 1 minute. It is known that the secretary takes notes, handles paperwork, makes and enforces rules for the cabinet to abide by. What will you do to make the role of the secretary more visible and active? Additionally, how will you expand the role?
A way that I would make the role more visible and active is by being present in as much as events and workshops as possible. And not only that, but just being personable, being myself, being Harry Pashan. A way I feel that I would expand the role, again, is by being myself, and because it would be from a different perspective than all of the past secretaries.
Answer in 30 seconds. How would you help your cabinet if event services is unable to provide a room and or a desired space?
Can you repeat that question again, please?
Yes. Answer in 30 seconds. How would you help your cabinet members if event services is unable to provide a room and or a desired space?
I understand there has been issues this past year about rooms, and I would try my best to communicate, but I understand that it may not go the way it's supposed to be. But I would try my best to still find a room, even if it's yeah.
Answer in 1 minute. As a part of eBoard, you play a supporting role. What does giving and receiving support look like for you?
Giving and receiving support to me is to be there for my fellow cab members and to try to understand where they're coming from, if there are any issues, as well as not just being there, but showing that I'm actually there and that would try to reach out to them if needed.
Answer in 1 minute. A member comes up to you and tells you about a cabinet member acting out and inappropriately in a social setting. How do you address this? Do you believe we have to uphold professionalism outside the cabinet settings? Why or why not?
Could you repeat that question again, please?
Yes. Answer in 1 minute. A member comes up to you and tells you about a cabinet member acting out and inappropriately in a social setting. How do you address this? Do you believe we have to uphold professionalism outside the cabinet settings? Why or why not?
As a cab member, you chose to be as a face of AK, and I believe that yes, that it's inappropriate to, or you have to act appropriate toward like outside of AK spaces because you are the face, and I would do my best to communicate to them and make sure they understand the professionalism guidelines.
Answer in 30 seconds. What skills can you bring to the secretary position?
Skills that I could bring to secretary position is not only do I find myself very organized, but I feel that I'm very good at trying to communicate on issues that would be needed to be resolved.
Answer in 1 minute. Do you think the current professionalism guidelines for cabinet members are too strict? Why or why not?
Can you repeat that again, please?
Yes. Answer in 1 minute. Do you think the current professionalism guidelines for cabinet members are too strict? Why or why not?
I don't believe they are too strict, but I also don't believe they are aren't strict in a way, because I believe they are right where they should be. As if it was too strict, then people wouldn't be cab members wouldn't be allowed to be themselves. But if it was not strict at all, then it would just be the org would look disorganized and messy.
Answer in 30 seconds. On a scale of 1 through 10, how important is the secretary position in Akbayan and why? 1 being not important at all, to 10 being the most important.
Could you repeat that again, please?
Yes. Answer in 30 seconds. On a scale of 1 through 10, how important is the secretary position in Akbayan and why? 1 being not important at all, to 10 being the most important.
I believe that secretary is a 10, but that doesn't mean that I'm denouncing all the other cab positions. And I believe all of them are 10 because they all bring they all bring things to AK that make AK.
Answer in 30 seconds. How would you help balance personability and professionalism for both yourself and your cabinet?
Could you repeat that again, please?
Yes. Answer in 30 seconds. How would you help balance personability and professionalism for both yourself and your cabinet?
I believe they could be balanced by understanding that there are guidelines, but also being yourself through those guidelines, which I believe is possible because it's been shown throughout the year.
Answer in 1 minute. How do you plan on humanizing your position?
Can you repeat that again, please?
Yes. Answer in 1 minute. How do you plan on humanizing your position?
Similar answers to before. I believe I can humanize the position by being personable and being myself and showing up not just by the person who's behind the computer or taking notes. I feel that I can be more than that. And that's how I feel that I can humanize the position.
Answer in 30 seconds. Without talking about your position, why do you want to be a cabinet member?
Can you repeat that again, please?
Yes. Answer in 30 seconds. Without talking about your position, why do you want to be a cabinet member?
I want to be a cabinet member because when I first joined AK, I was a very quiet person and closed off. I feel that throughout the years I've been in this org, I've grown a lot and changed through internship and PCN. And I feel that this is my way of giving back and also being there for people who may be like how I was before.
And with that concludes our panel for the secretary position.
Can I have the treasurer candidates come to the front? And for the order, can I have Sean and then Arwen? Thank you. The speaker list goes as follows: Sean, then Arwen. For each question, we will rotate such that the next speaker in line will speak first for the following questions. When speaking, please step forward. Do you need any clarifications on the instructions?
No.
If not, we will begin the panel for the treasurer position. Please introduce your name, pronouns, year, and major, starting with Sean.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sean DeLeon. Currently a second year physics major, minoring in mathematics, and I go by he and pronouns.
Hello, everyone. My name is Arwen Flores. I'm a third year radio, television, film major, minoring in theater arts, and my pronouns are he.
Starting with Sean. Answer in 30 seconds. Seeing that membership is $30, how would you convey Akbayan's purpose through your position?
I feel like to sort of justify the $30 membership fee. First, I would like to have general members be informed of what Akbayan offers, since we offer so many different programs and workshops and events. That I feel like by stating like just the gravity and like how in depth those events can be, that would generally justify the $30 membership fee.
Arwen?
When it comes to the membership fee being $30, I believe that members need to be informed that it is an investment to showcase and experience all the events and programs that Akbayan has to offer. As long as the members know that those $30 are being spread to help make those events possible, then that's how I convey Akbayan's purpose for them increasing in friendship.
Starting with Arwen. Answer in 1 minute. Pitch a fundraiser idea and the anticipated profits. What are the steps that you will take to meet your fundraising goal?
So one fundraiser idea that I have is to create a Sorry store kind of tabling fundraiser where you have snacks, drinks, maybe even trinkets like keychains, pins that is reminiscent of a Sorry store back in the Philippines. Both members who grew up in the Philippines, and then either members who have not grown up there could either be educated or inspired to try to figure out and experience the Sorry store kind of fundraiser. The expected profit, I believe that since the snacks and drinks and even the different trinkets would be low to make and then also purchase, and then high profit margin. Based on the turnout, I believe that through 7th Street and also through word of mouth, it would be an interesting dialogue whether or not sorry stores would be fun to experience.
Sean?
One idea I had for a fundraiser was my this year's internship class. My original fundraiser idea was to have actually a blind box, and for that, I believe it's a good idea because not only fundraising is to raise money, but also believe to raise money, it also enables people to like put their own characteristics within the fundraiser group. Allow the people who are holding the fundraiser to have fun. So through blind boxes, they can make it like personal to them by having like depending on what is inside the blind boxes. And those typically would be something that will be generally popular on social media to engage like most of the community and even people outside of AK. And so with that, I believe that we can really profit on them if the items in there are cheaper and are physically handmade, which would be the best option for making the most profit if we have the available artists. And so I believe that would be a really great fundraiser idea to have in the future.
Starting with Sean. Answer in 1 minute. Some members forget or not pay registration fees, especially for friendship games and PCN, and they participate without your or Akbayan's consent. How will you handle this situation?
I would handle the situation by first alerting whichever like program or event they need to have a membership fee for. I would let whoever is leading that event know that person hasn't paid their thing, because it is really important for them to pay it, because that is what enables the entire program itself to happen at all. And so I do understand that people forget sometimes, even I do forget sometimes to pay it because we're all pretty busy. And so I would alert whoever's the event lead and also them themselves. I would shoot them an email saying that to be being respectful, saying that it's okay, you haven't paid it, but please pay it as soon as you can, because and I would explain it a little bit, be pretty concise with it, that we need membership, or we need the money to have you participate at all within the program itself.
Arwin?
First off, I would like to begin to communicate with that member, try to figure out why exactly they haven't paid for their fees, and if they have trouble kind of being able to pay those fees, then we do have alternative options, such as a payment plan where they can just pay over time, or if not, they could just talk to me about it and we can work something out. I believe that every member should be able to participate in whatever program or event that we have, and I should be able to support them in that journey and not just run away from that.
Starting with Arwin. Answer in 30 seconds. How do you define a successful fundraiser?
I define a successful fundraiser in 2 ways. One of them would be, I guess, we get a financial profit off of that fundraiser. But I believe that the second one is just if the fundraiser was fun. If the whole community was able to get something out of it, and whether it be learning something educational or learning something or having a social setting where they could just have fun and enjoy themselves through that fundraiser, that's all we can ask for a successful fundraiser.
And Sean?
I also hold the same 2 criteria for a successful fundraiser. But another criteria that I would add is if the people, like the guests, the people who are buying from us also get something in return, because in that way we achieve our profit. Everyone really has fun for our fundraiser. But at the same time, the people who like our guests, people who are bought from us, are able to have something that they enjoy as well. And so that also serves a purpose within Akbayan, within serving our community.
Starting with Sean. Answer in 30 seconds. What is more important in events? Affordability, profitability, or extravagance?
Judging from my experiences, I believe that affordability is the most important out of all 3 of them. We are a nonprofit organization, so we are not looking to gain profit from any of this, but we are looking forward to being able to host these events that all of us really want to, such as PCN, Adventure Games, and such. And so having those being affordable is what enables all of these programs to happen at all. And so that would be the first thing that I would prioritize out of the three of them.
Arwin?
When it comes out of the three, I believe that affordability is the main criteria when it comes to the importance. Being able to protect the funds of Akbayan and be able to make this event happen is first and foremost for me. When it comes to extravagance, you don't need to have the most expensive items to make a workshop or event the best it could be. And for profitability, I believe that, yes, it depends on the workshop, it depends on the fundraiser, it depends on the event, but that can also be an important part of it as well.
Starting with Arwin. Answer in 1 minute. As part of eBoard, you play a supporting role. What does giving and receiving support look like for you?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. Answer in 1 minute. As part of eBoard, you play a supporting role. What does giving and receiving support look like for you?
When it comes to giving support, I believe that as a person of eBoard, you have to be there for them, be present, be able to support them through what needs, being able to be there at one of the cabinet members' events, being able to support them through their budget with them when it comes to planning these events. When it comes to receiving support, it's knowing that I can lean on that cabinet, any other cabinet member, for when I need trouble, or if I have some kind of issue that I can have feedback to help me grow and learn from that mistake. Being able to take that and form a cohesive bond between everyone is both giving and receiving support at the same time.
Sean?
For receiving and giving support, for giving support, I believe the number one thing the person giving support should have is great communication skills. And because of this, because the reason why is because you need to know exactly how that person's support looks like, because everyone is different, everyone has different needs, everyone has different ways of receiving the support. And so communication really enables that need to be communicated with that person. And so you can adjust how you give support to them when you do eventually do it. And as for receiving support, I believe people should, as mentioned before, cater to what their exact kind of support they want. And as such, and this support can be in many different forms, such as like literal, as in like helping out with assignments, or emotional support. And so I believe that those should be, a person giving support should be able to offer both of them, and also be personal at the same time to make them more approachable in the future to receive more support.
Time. Starting with Sean. Answer in 30 seconds. You aren't able to secure any restaurant takeovers for the semester, especially from places that Akbayan has previously collaborated with. How will you pivot from this?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. You imagine this. You aren't able to secure any restaurant takeovers for the semester, especially from places that Akbayan has previously collaborated with. How do you pivot from this?
From hearing this, I believe that we should go to an alternative that is similar to restaurant takeover. I believe that another alternative to a restaurant takeover that would be really similar is like be a picnic, or we could have a similar, like everyone, like a sort of like a smaller banquet, as people would get the same things as a restaurant takeover, such as food and such. And also we have a potential to have more of a profit, as if we ended up making food and such, that could be cheaper than from the restaurant itself.
Arwin?
I believe that in order to pivot away from restaurant takeovers, we could just focus on fundraisers that would probably be more activity-based, more like tournaments, maybe like friendly competitions, or like how the interns have done it this week, the Splash, or even Pie and Intern. Those activity-based fundraisers are able to generate a lot of profit still, and try to be able to gain a lot more for the community, to be able to bond together in the absence of a restaurant takeover.
Starting with Arwen. In 30 seconds, without talking about your position, why do you want to be a cabinet member?
Ever since I joined Akbayan in my freshman year, I've been so blessed to have such an amazing home. And ever since then, I've always wanted to become more involved and within this community. So being able to create better foundation for myself to grow and learn, for this community to be able to bond together and create be able to make this event possible makes me proud to be able to do this to leave a legacy behind from the past 50 years to the future 50 years.
And Sean?
When stepping into Akbayan, I was a completely different and some would say unrecognizable person from who I am now. And the things I've changed me is from participating in all these programs, such as PCN, Five Force Fest this year, and the internship program. And so, and also another thing that I found along the way is seeing joy in being able to host events and stuff, and see all of our hard work come to fruition. And so by becoming a cabinet member, I'll play a part in those, in making that happen. And so, yeah.
With that does conclude the treasure panels.
If I can have our vice president candidate come to the front. As a reminder, remember to answer to the best of your ability, and when speaking, please step forward. Do you need any clarification on the instructions? If not, we will begin the panel for the vice president position now. Please introduce yourself with your name, pronouns, year, and major.
Hello everyone, my name is Emily Du. I go by she, her pronouns, and I'm currently a third year microbiology student minoring in chemistry.
Answer in 30 seconds. What can you bring to the vice president position?
As a member of promotions board for the past year, it has been my mission to remain personable, authentic, and vulnerable. Through this, I have made a lot of connections, friendships, and just a lot of love that I thought I would never experience since last year. As the VP's position is to be the support system and the human first of cabinet, I can bring that personability to the 50th cabinet if elected.
Answer in 30 seconds. The VP is also responsible for planning bondings for the cabinet. What are your plans for this, especially during times when everyone is busy with cabinet work and some don't feel like going to them?
In times where the 50th cabinet might be busy with work, I can schedule cabinet bondings that focus on that productivity that is needed. For example, I can book study rooms in the library for everyone to get together and get their work done, as sometimes it's easier to get your work done when you have the support of your friends. If our cabinet would not want to come out and do work, I can schedule cabinet bondings that are on a smaller scale so you still get to see everyone and share that love, such as go out and get a drink with someone that you're not, or someone on another board, or go find them on campus and take a selfie and send it to me. This way, everyone can still feel their love and bond without having to go out of their way all that much.
Answer in 1 minute. Constitutionally, the VP position is responsible for being a part of course, supporting the cabinet, keeping relationships with alumni, being a supportive coach to the president, etc. What would be the most important responsibility to you and why?
For me, the most important responsibility of the vice president would be to be a supportive co to my president. As you know, the president and vice president will be looked up to as leaders for the next cabinet. If we aren't there to support the rest of the cabinet, what will happen to the rest of our work? With that, I should be there to support our president at all times so that we can inspire the rest of our cabinet to keep going, support them in times of need, and to just work efficiently side by side throughout the year.
Answer in 30 seconds. How do you plan on utilizing our advisors beyond what they currently do?
Beyond what our advisors currently do, I want to make it obvious to not only cabinet members, but Akbayan members in general, that our advisors are here to support them. Within cabinet, I will support, or if elected, I will be a support system. For the rest of cabinet, they can reach out to me with whatever concerns they have. But simply put, sometimes their concerns will be out of my capacity to provide support for them. In those cases, it'll be my job to refer them to our advisors for support, whether it be academic and career from Alan Guig or psychological.
Answer in 1 minute. You notice that recent workshops/events are not meeting the organization's expectations. How do you plan to address this, and what actions follow?
Can you please repeat the question?
Yes. Answer in 1 minute. You notice that recent workshops/events are not meeting the organization's expectations. How do you plan to address this, and what actions would follow?
If I were to notice that workshops were not meeting our expectations as a cabinet, I would first meet with our cabinet and the event leads in general, or the event leads specifically, to find out what is the problem, what can we take action on. From there, I will see what is within my capacity as the vice president and what is in with everyone else's capacity within their respective roles as a cabinet. Together, we will work as a cabinet to improve our workshops and make sure they are up to Akbayan standards.
Answer in 30 seconds. Seeing as the president and vice president positions work interchangeably, tell us why you didn't choose to run for the president position.
As I mentioned before, during my last term as media officer, it has been my biggest responsibility above all else to remain personable, to remain authentic, to remain vulnerable. I have used all of those skills to connect with the community as closely as I can. I feel as though these skills are more easy to transfer to the vice president position rather than the president position, as this personability and this authenticity will better translate to my role as the human first of Akbayan's cabinet.
Answer in 1 minute. One of your cabinet members is having issues with another cabinet member. This issue is a professional problem, but you also know they don't like each other personally. How do you handle this situation?
For me, the first step would be to talk to both cabinet members individually and gain their perspectives. I will also ask both cabinet members, what do you need from me as your vice president to solve this situation? If I can't provide any support to them, I will ask them, what do you need from the other cabinet member to solve this issue? Based on both of their needs, I will come up with a solution, whether that be an intervention with the both of them or just encouraging them to talk it out. If that doesn't work, I will sit them both down and try to find the best way for them to work efficiently in professional spaces without disrupting the flow of our work.
Answer in 30 seconds. How do you plan to uphold traditions or keep up with modern times?
As we are coming up on Akbayan's 50th year as an organization, I think it is very important to uphold the traditions that we were founded on. Nonetheless, I think it is equally as important to grow with the times as a cabinet and as an organization so that our members can continue to feel welcome and we can continue to feel like we are progressing and growing as an organization.
Answer in 30 seconds. Do you see VP as a background role? Why or why not?
I do not see the vice president role as a background role. As we say a lot, we say human first, student second, and everything else third. The role of a vice president is to be on cabinet and make sure that everyone is maintaining their human first, to make sure they are remaining authentic and true to themselves. In addition to that, I believe that the president and vice president work in tandem constantly to make sure each other feels supported and works efficiently, and each role will not be able to work without one another.
Answer in 30 seconds. What ways do you plan to ensure that the workload of the president and vice president are balanced?
To make sure the role of the president and vice president are balanced, it takes bonding inside and outside of workspaces. That means getting to know each other in professional, work, and personal contexts. With this, you will be able to know each other's smoke signals, and with that, you'll be able to communicate with each other when you would need to step back or when the other person would need to step back. And in times like that, you will figure out how to get the work done.
Answer in 1 minute. How do you define a successful cabinet?
A successful cabinet is not defined by the amount of workshops they put on or the amount of members that join in that school year. A successful cabinet is defined based on the values that they started their term with, the reason why they named their cabinet. And based on those values that they have set in place at the beginning of their term, their success will be determined by the amount of growth that they will.
Answer in 1 minute. Knowing that eBoard is a very logistical and supportive board, what does being on eBoard mean to you?
Being on executive board to me means being a leader, being someone to provide guidance, and being a support system. Especially as a returner, the rest of cabinet would be looking up to me, president, and the rest of eBoard if elected. And that means also staying unbiased in light of conflict. And if you do feel high emotions, you should be able to turn that around and make it real.
Answer in 30 seconds. Without talking about your position, why do you want to be a cabinet member again?
I say this very often, but I ran for this media officer position without knowing many people and not having a lot of prior experience in Akbayan. Even when I was elected and I was very happy to be, I found that for most of the year I still felt like I was alone. And through all of that, cabinet and Akbayan in general have made me feel like I have a place, I can make change, and I can still be worthy of love. And I am running for a second term on cabinet so I can return that favor and make our next cabinet and the community feel the same way.
And with that, that concludes our panel for the vice president position.
Can I have our presidential candidate please come to the front? Before we begin, do you need any clarification on the instructions?
No.
If so, please introduce yourself with your name, pronouns, year, and major.
Hello everyone, my name is Faith Lauren Castro. I'm a fourth year biochemistry major and my pronouns are they, she.
Answer in 1 minute. What are your goals for the president position?
My goals for the president position, if elected, is to go into this next cabinet with the statement that there is strength in vulnerability. We are only as strong as our most mentally weak cabinet member, and as one cabinet, we should be able to support each other. And that's why I believe that going forward, if elected, I would like to set the precedent with the next cabinet to be vulnerable with each other at all times, as we can only help each other once we know each other's smoke signals.
Answer in 30 seconds. What is one thing you learned from your previous cabinet experience, and how will you apply what you learned to succeed in the president position?
Something I learned from my current term as PCN coordinator is, like I said in my previous answer, is how to be vulnerable with my current cabinet. The way that I will implement this going forward into the presidential position is knowing that there is a huge mental toll on the responsibilities of the president, and I would like my cabinet to know when I'm struggling and how they can help me out in any adversity or strife.
Answer in 1 minute. Akbayan has been known to plan their events much in advance, giving little room to collaborate with other orgs. What is your stance on collaborating with other organizations, and how do you plan on putting this stance into action if elected?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. Answer in 1 minute. Akbayan has been known to plan their events much in advance, giving little room to collaborate with other organizations. What is your stance on collaborating with other organizations, and how do you plan on putting this stance into action if elected?
I believe that Akbayan as a whole could be more collaborative with our external organizations, as we have a lot of connections to organizations like LEAD, Kabatan Alliance, PAWIS, to name a few. That being said, over the summer before we set our calendar, I want to ensure that I'm reaching out to these organizations already that I may already have connections to ensure that if they have any events they'd like to collaborate on us with, for this next term, I'd like them to tell me now so I could reach out to our respective pillars and programs before we set our calendar, just to ensure that the Akbayan community is getting all of the resources they have at their disposal, whether it be from our own community or from external organizations. I also believe that collaborating does not have to look like workshops or lecture-based events. It can look like community building and gatherings such as potlucks or community paintings, etc.
Answer in 30 seconds. In your experience within Akbayan, is there anything you would seek to change, modify, or alter through the president position?
From the current term within this cabinet, I have seen multiple events be canceled due to the capacity of our own cabinet members. And something that I would like to push moving forward is quality over quantity in our events. Of course, it's good to have a lot of workshops, but it's also good to consider the capacity of all of our cabinet members, especially in the spring semester when we do have PCN, RAP, and possibly COPWA if it doesn't happen in the fall. So I would like to move forward and ensure that our cabinet members know when they're placing their events and ensure that their mental and academic capacity can take these events.
Answer in 30 seconds. How do you plan on creating an environment and keeping your cabinet motivated, productive, and engaged, especially during the more tiring periods of the year?
To keep cabinet productive and engaged throughout the entirety of the term, I would like them to think about the reason that they ran, their why, so to say. Because it's not important it's incredibly important to stay grounded to your why throughout your entire term, especially as we recognize going into the 50th cabinet. It's an especially high privilege to be here within this organization, knowing the tradition and the history behind this organization.
Answer in 30 seconds. What kind of tone will you want to set with the rest of your cabinet?
If elected for the 50th cabinet, the tone that I would like to set is that we understand the boundary between personable and professional. Especially as we go into the 50th cabinet, there's a lot of expectations that are going to be put on us, whether it's by alumni or from the Akbayan community as a whole. So I would like them to move forward with confidence and strength, but also to lead with personability.
Answer in 30 seconds. Given the mental toll the president position will potentially take on you, how will you ensure to take care of your own well-being and other responsibilities while also taking care of everyone else around you?
I would like to really utilize our advisors, Alan Puig and Kuya Lester, as they are our advisors for a reason. I would like to check in with them at any opportunity, especially if I'm starting to feel burnt out, and also communicate with my VP if there's at any point I need to take a step back and they need to take that step forward for me. I would also like to completely be vulnerable with my cabinet when there's times where I can't be there, and if they have the capacity within their own positions to take a step forward for me.
Answer in 30 seconds. Seeing that the president and vice president positions work interchangeably, tell us why you didn't choose to run for the vice president position.
Through my current term, the skill set that I have gained as being PCN coordinator can more smoothly translate over to the responsibilities of president. As I've overseen both of the responsibilities of president and vice president, there is more of an emotional side to the vice president role that I personally could not bring my 100% for. And in terms of the presidential role, I believe that my logistics work can help me within this position.
Answer in 30 seconds. How do you make sure the workload between the president and vice president are evenly distributed?
To ensure the work that between the presidential and vice president role is evenly distributed, I would like to constantly be in communication with my vice president to ensure that there's nothing that we're taking on that we both can't handle at the same time. And if there's ever a chance where I might be better at one thing that my VP isn't, then I would take that step forward. Or if they're better than me at one thing and I'm not, then I would like them to take that step forward for me so that we could accurately distribute the work between ourselves.
Answer in 30 seconds. How do you plan to uphold traditions or keep up with the modern times?
As we go into the 50th cabinet, it's especially important to acknowledge the 50 years of history behind this organization. That being said, to move forward and uphold tradition, or to keep moving on with modern times, I would like to sit down with core leads where I've noticed in this current term where events haven't been working out, and I would like to sit down with them and ask them how we can improve, how can we modernize our events so that we can keep the general community engaged with every Akbayan event and not just our big events.
Answer in 1 minute. How do you define a successful cabinet?
To me, a successful cabinet is dependent on the person in that cabinet. It's dependent on the people that are chosen to run the next cabinet. I want every cabinet member to look back on their term and look back to their campaign and understand their why and really connect with that why and be able to look back and say that they fulfilled what they were here to do. I want to see any form of growth from every single cabinet member, as that is what my role is as president is to do. I want to push this next cabinet so that they can feel proud of themselves and know that they have become leaders in this community, just like me and my current cabinet members have been with Polaris 49.
Answer in 1 minute. Knowing that eBoard is a very logistical and supportive board, what does being on eBoard mean to you?
To be on eBoard means to understand that all of your cabinet will rely on you, no matter which position you are. As our PVP roles are the leaders of the cabinet, but our secretary and treasurer roles are very important to the logistics as well as the financial budgets for a lot of our events. Being an eBoard means that you have to be reliable. It means you have to be there on call at all times for every cabinet member. And to be an eBoard member, it means to be selfless. It means to lead with resilience. It means in the strife of any kind of conflict, you have to be there for your cabinet and you have to be the face. You have to be strong for them, especially when it comes to logistical problems that they might not be able to solve because they're too caught up in the moment. So to be on eBoard means to be selfless and resistant.
Answer in 30 seconds. Without talking about your position, why do you want to become a CAB member again?
At the beginning of my term, I wanted to be someone that the Akbayan community could look up to. I wanted to be someone that the CAB members during Barangay 46 could look up. I wanted to be similar to the CAB members from Barangay 46 when I was a freshman. And in my term, I believe that I've accomplished that. But moving forward into the 50th cabinet, I want to continue being that light, not only for the community, but for this next cabinet, as I also believe that I still have room to grow. And in this position, I believe I can push myself no matter what to keep growing and to keep changing and to bring new perspectives for the 50th cabinet if elected.
With that does conclude the president report. Okay.
And that officially concludes all the panels we have for our candidates. The panels for day one have been uploaded to our YouTube account through the live stream tab, and today's panels will be uploaded shortly. Candidate speeches will take place this Friday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. in BBC 104. Next week, candidates will be tabling, and you'll also be able to vote for next year's cabinet. And finally, stay tuned for who's elected at End of Year Banquet on May 8th. With that, this does conclude the panels. Have a great rest of your nights.